page at WFM 917 on Facebook and YouTube, where we're streaming live right now at WFM 917 on Facebook and YouTube. And also, you can send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070 317 56537. 070 317 56537. And we'd love to read your messages and have you being part of this conversation. The Punch paper has the headline, Recession, Nigeria's economy on way to recovery, says Oshibajo's aide. And water transportation will reduce port congestion. This is Nigerians' inland waterways. And security dealers oppose federal government proposed unclaimed dividends funds. And Buhari's regime's second recession cut governance cost, aid production diversity, expert tells federal government. And Ondo moves to stop planned workers' strike. And Lagos stage a walkout as fuel talks collapse again. Apparently, I heard that the Labour walked out of the government as the Guardian paper has the headline over constitutional bridges, and Southeast Town Union leaders oppose federal government community policing. Groups fault Ayo Salami's panel recommendation on EFCC's headship, and Femi Gbajabiamila creates trust fund for slain newspaper vendor. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria flags planned importation of fuel from Niger Republic. The This Day newspaper has the headline, Femi Gbajabiamila promises scholarship foundation for children of slain vendor. The Governor Wike imposes 24 hours curfew in parts of Port Harcourt. ASU wants children of public holders banned from schooling abroad. We're going to look into that headline. NNPC to intensify oil search in the north. And the Nation has the headline, Kebbi launches data capture portal to boost employment. And Buhari urges security agencies to tackle violence. And Minister urges sanction against Nigerian Port Authority attackers. Federal government lists November savings bond. And Nigeria equity loses 470 billion amidst profit taken. The pen pushing has the rest of the headline. Police arrest suspected armed robber along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway with snatched vehicle. A live support network decries non-inclusion of well-being of children in nation's development plan. These are the headlines on the dailies. Do well to be part of the conversation. All you have to do is send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070 317 56537. 070 317 56537 to be part of the conversation here on the newspaper review this morning. All right, we go straight into the dailies, and I'd like us to start off with this one that concerns us on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where the ease of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway congestion for Christmas, Fashola tells contractors. And the Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, on Sunday said the federal government would complete the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway project despite scarce resources as a result of this region of Nigeria, and it was constructed in two sections, 1 and 2, for one part by Julius Berger and the other part by Raymond Construction Limited, respectively. At an interactive town hall meeting with stakeholders in Ogere, Ogun State, Fashola told the contractors to ease traffic congestion during the forthcoming Yuletide period. This is a big one that affects us. We are all affected by the fact that we always have to go through this. I'm somebody who dread going out, especially if I have to travel to Ibadan. A few times I've had to travel to Ibadan. I fly a bike from Arepo to Moe before I now get a vehicle. That's how I have to do it to avoid the traffic, and it's really terrible.
Then you don't have to think about having to travel all the way to Ibadan before you see this traffic we're talking about. Talking about people coming in from Lagos.
From Lagos, yes.
Inward, Wawa,
yes.
Arepo,
yes.
Ibafo, Amowe. You see, our problem has been that perhaps maybe it's the government that wouldn't know.
Okay.
And the contractor wouldn't have a formidable agreement. Why am I saying this? It is very imperative that when you want to construct a road, you must provide an alternative, because you will understand that definitely it's going to affect the people that are applying that road. And especially this Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, this is the most busiest trunk road, highway in the whole of Nigeria. The busiest. If you know the influx of vehicles that apply this road on a daily basis, it will amaze you. is incredible. And you know, looking at the what's it called? Those roads of the expressway, the entire roads. If they could make it motorable. Do you understand?
Yes.
If it could be motorable, honestly, the traffic we are talking about would be minimal. People going outward Lagos, do the other side of the road. The one inward Lagos, do the other side of the road. Then you can be busy. You can concentrate on the main express that you are fixing. And with that, you'll see that there won't be dreadlock, there won't be gridlock, there won't be pain. At least I've seen people.
There's a little pain. People
will understand. Because we know that at least we are moving. There's no head-on collision. There's no gridlock, no traffic jam. These are the things we are talking about.
I think that's project management 101, and I have spoken about it. Maybe not on the platform. One time it was, in fact, I even think it's even getting better. There was one time that it was really bad. Every time a lot of accidents, all manner of things.
Cars were breaking down because of overheating.
Just different kind of drama, on this road. And it is this thing of you not, and we're going to take the ASU headline. Is this thing of you not plying there regularly, so it's really not your business. So you're not doing plan A, B, C, because you just feel like, just go and do the road and just go. But there's somebody, of course, it's not our president that is going to come to do the road. There's somebody in charge. That's what I'm saying. There's a project manager, the manager in charge. They're supposed to put those. There are a lot of road. I heard there's one like you can pass through. I could say from Magboro. Like that when I was
so many interconnections.
Yes.
There's even I think if you go through Mowe, there's a way you can connect.
So because I know that I started to find out.
I heard there's a road inside this Arepo that can connect down to Ikorodu too. So if we do so many interconnections.
The one at Magboro, we do all that. We are going to definitely have something. But it is a conversation because I don't know if people are not thinking about it, and the word is empathy. They don't just scare. So, just let's do the road and let us just move. Because if you care, it's going to show in your action.
And how you actually
again, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it's the poor project manager. Because these companies are international companies. I don't know if they are not the ones that are to show us our alternative road. I don't even know
international company that started from Nigeria anyway.
So, that's union, that's that link, collaboration to make sure that let us do this, let us do that. Sometimes I just really wonder that what is wrong. Is it just the lack of care? Is it that people just want to do contracts, get their money and go? Is it that people just feel like Nigerians will manage? Because in other parts of the world, this is not how it is. So you don't just start doing
a road without making proper plans.
Exactly. And even there's usually time limits.
Yes.
I learned from that. There's usually time limit. You can't just be there doing road for
forever.
99 years.
The most unfortunate thing is that I don't understand our federal government. Fashola being a one-time governor of Lagos State, looking at the network of the road network in Lagos, he knows that there must be interconnectivity here and there.
Always is.
Yesterday I went to somewhere in Okota. Honestly, I was marveled. You will connect from one place to the other. You know that you can even outside Okota go to Ijayi area, and the other side interconnectivity. You honestly you will drive all the way and you not go on the expressway.
True.
That's the truth about it.
Yeah,
you will not go on the expressway, and this I have seen. So when I look at it now, Fashola being the governor of Lagos State, knowing fully well how things are, I think Fashola is in best position. And anybody that has gone through pain before should be able to know
where the shoe pinches.
So I think Fashola should understand that it is not just constructing the road.
Yes,
there should be also how do I ease the pain of these people by making other provisions.
I think one of the things that also the governor of Lagos State, the current governor of Lagos State, when he just came in, was he just started doing all the roads at the same time. He just started approving almost all the major. It was like there was no road in Lagos. I remember when this started, it was like everybody was sleeping on the road. People were complaining bitterly. The governor came in and he wanted to effect change.
I remember that time it was
almost
really,
everywhere was blocked.
You wouldn't blame him. You know why I would say so? The state of the road then If the guy decided not to do it, decided to fix some part and leave other parts, the same thing will happen there. Because of the potholes, because of the state of the roads that were really bad. So you still have the same traffic there. So he now looks at it, why not let me ease their burden, all of us, all at once? So that if I think I like him the way he worked that time, because he called it emergency road fixing.
Yes.
And he saw that Lagosians we are crying. We were all crying there, we were in pains. So, but kudos to Sanwo-Olu. And after some time, we all enjoyed it. That we could see the reason for it. Well, almost all the roads became good, motorable, that can easily drive.
But I hope that stakeholders take something from
this conversation. That one is different from this one.
It's different from this one.
But this one, there are alternatives by the side, not just far away. By the side, by the
corner,
by the side.
But I think that also calls to the question of who are those in charge of town planning in this country? That caused them to question, are they actually carried along with this construction?
No. Daniel, do you want to know the truth?
Okay.
You see, all this road you are saying, there are plans for them. There is greening area, the vegetation area. Okay. There are the setback. So many things are there. But it's the government that are not implementing it. The town planners, when you want to look, if you want to see the master plan of these roads, you'll be shocked what they plan there. I know vividly of that of Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, because one of the town planners happened to be an auntie of mine. When she told us everything, and in the course of reconstruction on that road, you will see that most of the setback that people occupied, by the time the government came, nobody argued, because already they know they want. Those were the greening area. So many places, so many allottees were there that people can make do as motorists. So it's also here too. That's why you have those expansions of land by the sides.
By the sides of the road.
Yeah, even for expansion. It's been created.
But there are still project managers that are not doing their job.
They're not doing their job.
Somebody is not doing
Somebody is not doing the job.
How would they do this? When you know the character, it's in our character in Nigeria, that if we fix the road optimally, how would the next government be able to?
But I think that ideology has
been the problem.
Has been a problem, because I've been hearing that for a long time. Because it's like every year,
every government wants to come back and work on the same place to make money.
They're fixing road. But then let's talk about stakeholders, and there are a lot of possibilities of strike looms as labor stages works out on government insists on 160 naira per litre. So labor leaders yesterday staged a walkout on the federal government team at the banquet hall of Aso Rock, Abuja, insisting on the reversal of petrol price to 160 per litre. The General Secretary of the Nigerian Labour Congress said that the walkout became inevitable as the government team was not ready to discuss the reversal, but wanted to discuss the palliatives issue. At the beginning of the meeting, we insisted that the things that is causing palliatives should be discussed first, but the government felt otherwise. We could not discuss palliatives when the petrol price has been moved up to 170 per litre, while discussions are still ongoing. It says, when asked what are the next steps for NLC will take, we are going back to our people to report what transpired here. Labour stated that it never endorsed a deregulation policy, that it anchored on fuel importation. The Labour chairman also told The Guardian at the whole night that Labour agreed that the nation's refineries should be rehabilitated to boost local refining. He lamented that almost 8 weeks after the negotiation, the federal government has not shown any commitment to the items that were agreed upon. I want to look at the level of authority Labour has over the federal government and why we are still where we are today. Does the Nigerian Labour have the authority to command respect from the federal government?
That's a big question, Daniel. Yes.
I think he is, yes.
Yes.
They
should command that respect. But what are those things that they have done over the time that makes the government not to respect them? Compromised. Because of the compromise over the years. And because they are always looking for government, kickback here and there. So that's why when they come to the table, the government will look at them as hypocrites. That's the honest truth.
Even if not.
Now let's look at, you see, one bad egg
And
spoil
yes,
the homeless.
what
So
that, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it is what goes down.
Ah.
Let's take a cue from the NSAS protest.
Okay.
What happened? Immediately, the SARS was dissolved. That means they listen because they see that there was no way these people can soil their hands. But these ones, I tell you, if some bags that have been rolling in the past also rose before these people, are we even sure that even before now, something has not gone under the ground? That's why they are not even listening to them now, because maybe they are coming to the table is now, can you see that these people are not budging? No. Don't you think we should reverse? And the government is now looking at the, I haven't done this for you. What kind of reversal? That's my own opinion.
Okay.
From the perspective I'm looking at it. Why will you come to the table when the government says you should come to the table, and the government now say, no, I'm not going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And the labor, the power they have is that they can control the whole working community of Nigeria. That's true they have, but are they ready to use it?
Is the word ready to use, or do they still have that intensity of power that we think they have?
Yes, they do.
Yes, I don't believe that one bad egg.
Okay.
So yes, it's the saying that one bad egg is going to spoil the whole
Omelette.
Yeah, but I don't believe that should be. If there are people there that are standing for truth and are standing for integrity, I believe that something can still be worked up. I believe that their integrity, can still come back, and they can still get that power that they're supposed to have with the government. It may not be so easy.
Yeah. So now the conversation around the reversal of fuel from 170 to 160, and we're looking at electricity tariff also. Does Labour right now, with the trend of what is going on, with the body language of the federal government, is there a chance that we're going to see a reversal, or we just have to believe this is the new normal and we move
that
on?
will be the Labour taking a decisive action. That's just the only way there can be a reversal, because that's when they can even come, apart from reversal, that's when the government can draw them back to the table, then they should talk about it. All
right, talking about drawing back to the table, let's take ASU on the This Day newspaper. ASU wants children of public holders banned from schooling abroad. And the Academic Staff Union of University Akure Zone yesterday declared the children wards of public office holders should be banned from studying in tertiary institution abroad. The Akure branch of ASU made the call on a statement signed by its zonal coordinator, that's Professor Olufayo, and the Futa ASU branch chairman, that such policy would reduce the decadence in the country's educational sector. Underline, reduce decadence in the country's educational sector. Now, apart from that, the union also called on the federal government to compel members of the ruling class and their dependents from seeking medical interventions outside Nigeria. They said the policy, if implemented, would help rebuild the country's education and health sector. The union stated in a statement that members of the ruling class and their cohorts have their awards schooling abroad, so they have no commitment to end ASU strike since political office has become occupational rather than public service. Now, I don't know, let me get your stand on, would a policy on banning of people, public holders, not allowing their children school abroad, bring an end to the decadence, or reduce, the word here was used, reduce the decadence in the country's educational sector? Do you think it can put that?
Yes, it would, but all the same, there is a freedom of movement.
Okay.
Which it will be very difficult to some extent for the policy to implement.
Okay.
One. But there is one person I want to give kudos to who has ruled this country before, Abacha. There is none of Abacha children that school abroad. I know virtually all of them. Their secondary school was in Command Secondary School, but they were in Ibadan. And they went to Maiduguri, University of Maiduguri to school.
Okay.
They all schooled in Nigeria. But, when you look back to those times, you realize that even our educational system was better. It was when these people came in, these politicians, by the time they came in 1999, that our education now went flat. Why? Because they decided the public education, let me put it, not the education as Nigeria as a whole, but the public education. Why? Because they were interested in what? establishing their own universities and secondary schools. And that's why you see that they are not giving attention to the public schools. If what the ASU have said can be put in place, do not look at your child sitting at home with you for 6-7 months, and you'll be happy as a
do you think the same, Nkechi?
Yeah, capital letter YES. It's just the thing about empathy, and it is not something that is real to some of our leaders, not all, because of course I cannot assume, because they are not there. So when you are not there, when you're not in the situation, you don't have someone there, or the person you have is one far distance person you don't even have a with, these things become like distance conversation, or it becomes noise. So you're saying things like fuel hike and NEPA. It's because it is painful to some people. Some giving hand to mouth. But of course, if you are not in that particular situation, you won't understand where they are coming from. So it is the Nigerian
Is the Nigerian educational system right now we know the state of where the public educational system is. We understand how it's degrading. In fact, I was in a webinar over the weekend on how to get to school abroad. It was a webinar, sponsored webinar. I was invited to come talk to a couple of young people, and it was a webinar to talk to people how to school abroad. We see a lot of Nigerians advocating, looking for scholarship to go abroad to school, right? Because of the situation of the educational system here. But what exactly do we need? Is this the kind of policy we need to move the educational system? Is this the priority policy to be put in place to move education forward?
I wouldn't say yes and no. Why? Looking at our educational structure, it's not that the lecturers or the teachers are bad. It's not. It's not the quality of the teachers. I'm talking in terms of the university now. It's not the quality of the teachers, but it's the program, the policy that are affecting these teachers and the education itself. Now, over the
7 months and counting.
7 months counting. So this is what we are talking about. If the lecturers they have a conducive and enabling environment, they will do their work without having to have recourse to think of PP here and
Mr. Adeyemi, I think that this policy would put some priorities such that we are going to build. There are going to be more things that we'll build. Apart from the lecturers, that I was talking to somebody, or I know someone that interns with me that schools in Germany. Because she's taking it's not here. These are the things we need to inculcate in our country. Yes, you can't say, I want to be in Nigeria by force. So I'm the child of a minister. So because it's a policy, I can't follow my dreams. But when that happens, you would be forced to, even if
bring in those courses.
to bring in those tech kind of courses or whatever, to the country. So that's the kind of expansion I'm even looking at beyond maybe the classroom or the lecturers.
Yeah, you see,
especially medicine,
talking
and
about
go abroad for
those
medicine.
kind of courses that are not there, are not in Nigeria, that exist overseas.
Yeah, that people are just.
You see, it's good, but before you can bring in that, you must have such let me say organization that could employ, or such outfit that could employ such people. So what we are talking about is Nigerian government creating an enabling productive society. Now if I study a course that is only known and that has a place in the US, and I come to Nigeria and I said I want to work in Nigeria, I'll be useless in Nigeria because there's nowhere it's going to absorb me. But there must be companies, there must be outfits
that can absorb such skills.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So I think we need to keep expanding, because I'm in an industry that is relatively new, counseling, and I know that we've had to do the work of expanding.
I wouldn't say your counseling is new in Nigeria. No. Let's look at it. What you will say is that now we are catching the fire of counseling. Counseling have been in Nigeria over the years. While we were growing up, even
not as a career.
No. People, you have them now.
When I was
even in secondary school, we had counselor. We had counselor in schools. In public schools, I'm taking.
But then they only come to talk to us on once
a month.
I'm telling you, they are teachers.
Yes,
they are teachers. I have a friend who studied guiding and counseling in University of Lagos. And I'm talking to somebody who's been there for almost 30 years.
But there's
So
more beyond guidance
it's-
and counsel. Anyways, but that's
it's
just
part-
more
it's part of
aside
that.
the
That's
point.
where it comes out from.
From
And that's the mother of all the
of
counseling
all the care.
we
Yeah,
are
but
talking
Mr.
about.
David, what I'm trying to say is that we are the ones from our educational sector that will not begin to expand what we can produce.
where we
Where
can
we wait
when
for
we
the
produce,
environment.
there must, you see,
I
how
under-
do you bring out the graduate and we don't have a place
for them. So I think now the conversation has shifted from
important.
not just improving the educational
no.
system, but also there is need for expansion. But like you said, the government needs to begin to create the enabling environment because you can't think of expansion when there's not an enabling environment.
Yes.
All right, this is still the
But
newspaper
that's too
review on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Let's take some of the text messages we have here, and you can also send in your text and WhatsApp message too on 070-317-56537. Odia Mark in Ikeja says, please, I don't want NLC to fight for decrease in petrol price. This is because even if the petrol is reduced to 15 naira, there won't be reduction in the prices of cost of transportation and other things, except for those of us with cars that may benefit from it. I would rather that NLC fought for the reduction of electricity tariff, which we can't afford. This electricity tariff, we can't all afford this electricity tariff increment. So we are now in recession again. This coming in from Odia Mark. Says kudos to the APC government. They have done. I know what you're trying to do here, Odia Mark, but I'll just keep it this way. Thank you very much, Odia. All right, let me take another text message here. Says Nigeria's driven into recession is not surprised. The woman selling pepper and tomatoes know that this would happen, but for those steering the Nigerian nation, see people who raise alarm as false news and enemy of their political future. They cannot manage NNPC, National Treasury, National Security, and etc. How do we get out of this mess? 1, focus on creating small-scale businesses, reduce government spending, stop foreign loans, deal with corruption faithfully. And lastly, government officials should not collect salaries until civil servants are paid. Also, the billions yet set aside for COVID-19 loan and SMEs have not been disbursed to those that applied, but the government is on the newspaper claiming billions have been set aside for this. For refineries, I hope Lai Mohammed will say it's fake news and stations and newspaper would be asked to pay 3 million naira or will be sanctioned. This is Nelson from Gijo. All right, let's take some text messages here. Chief Chima Ezenwaka in Ikorodu says, Northern leaders backing Igbo presidency against 2023 is a welcome development. It stops further Biafra agitation. Please let the other groups, zones, and the countries join in the movement. Igbos are endowed with all it takes to make Nigeria great. All right, this coming from Chief Chima Ezenwaka. All right, let's get more of your messages on 070-317-56537. Israel in Ogijo says, NLC lawyer, senator have sold their rights at one time or the other. The Labour have dined and wined wrongfully with federal government, forgetting how powerful the office of the citizen is. The same goes to lawyers who blindly sold their rights to Buhari, single-handedly removed Onoge over asset declaration, while he himself is chained by the law. Where is NBA? Hence the polarization, even the senators. Until the citizens realize that they are stronger than this elect, they will be sons of Ephraim. All right, this is coming in from Israel in Ogijo. 070-317-56537. 26 minutes actually to 9 on the radio this morning. And we're talking with regards to taking headlines across the papers on the news. All right, let's take the one with regards to the recession. It says here, Buhari's regime second recession cuts governance costs, aid production, diversity expert tells federal government. All right, and this is coming from economic expert and interest group in Nigeria. The economy on Sunday advised the federal government to reduce the cost of governance and encourage production. Expert and group include a professor of political economy and management, that's Pat Otom, the Abuja Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and the former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Also gave the advice in separate interviews with The Punch while commenting on Nigeria's recent economic recession. They said government should cut tax for the poor and diversify the economy. According to them, in diversifying the economy, government must match its words with action. Amid a rising debt profile, inflation and unemployment, Nigeria on Saturday entered its second recession in 5 years as officials figures shows that the country economic shrinked again in the third quarter of the year. This year, the recession is the worst in 36 years, as data obtained from the World Bank indicated that the country's gross domestic product dropped by 10.92% in 1983 and 1.2% in 1987. The National Bureau of Statistics, in its report for the third quarter of 2020, said in the GDP, the broadcast measure of economic prosperity fell by 3.62% in the 3 months up till September. And this is actually worrying. Two things have been raised with regards to getting us out of recession. One is diversifying the economy and encourage production. Reduce cost. I think three things: reduce cost of governance, encourage production, diversify the economy. But when we talk of diversifying the economy, I don't think a miracle can happen in 1 year with diversifying the economy. We can reduce cost of governance right now.
Yeah, of course.
We encourage production. We take, at least if we want to encourage production faithfully, the first thing we need to look at is electricity.
And
we all agree.
Electricity
is something that we need. Look at South Africa doing 10,000 to 15,000 megawatts. We are still struggling around 3,000 megawatts, 3 to 4,000 megawatts. And we are the largest consumers of everything in Africa. But that is what we are dealing with. Last week, I think Thursday, I had a lecturer sit down with me here, and he was sharing his experience of going to South Africa, looking at the universities in South Africa, and then coming down to, because we talked about the state of the Nigerian educational system and what we can do to redeem it. And he leveraged on so many things. But when we look at the economy of the country, where do we start from? We can't, if we start diversifying the economy now, we can't see the results automatically. Planting an annual crop, it's going to take about a year before you see the results. So where do we start getting it right? This is the second recession, and this is, according to report, the worst in 36 years. This is bad.
When you're talking about diversifying the economy, we should not expect that the result is going to come up in just 1 year. Tomorrow, yeah. But all things being said, it's very important that we diversify our economy, because our economy has been based on petroleum, which already is what is affecting our so-called GDP. But now let's look at it. Agriculture, which is a sector that is very germane to Nigeria economy, if we could give it optimum attention, and if the government could be holistic about all they are going to do in terms of distribution of fertilizer, seedlings, all this stuff to the people, that they are not being one-sided, and there are some people who are not taking advantage of it by making money out of it. I tell you, in the next 1 year to 2 years, you will see a boom in Nigeria. Because let's look at it. Our cash crops in Nigeria basically then was cocoa, granite, red oil, and these other stuff.
Granite, cocoa. We're major exporters.
Red oil.
Now we are spending over 300 billion naira on the importation of palm oil.
So now, if the government can be realistic, be holistic about it, and put our resources in this area, I tell you, we'll back on track.
So I think different? I used to talk about how we have a lot of diverse things we can produce. And before I say my most important point, I tasted, I don't know, it was one brand, I tasted Gari, coconut Gari recently, and I was just so impressed. It was Gari with a coconut flavor. And that is just one aspect of what we can produce, within ourselves. And of course, export.
Everything is
well packaged. It was so good. So now, but it's back to what we usually say. And I know I've sat in for big questions. I've heard the guests say things like, especially one particular episode, the electricity. I don't know what the problem is. If it's the advisors that are not really thinking well, or if it's that maybe because they have gen or some form of constant light in their place, they are not thinking that way. when we don't take things from the foundation, we are
Okay.
going to be running helter-skelter. And I think that's what is happening.
Mm.
Again and again, we need to start by prioritizing at least 3 things that will have a ripple effect for our economy. One of it being electricity, that would definitely increase the cost of whatever production it is that we are going to produce, that will boom and, of course, bring in profit for our economy. So a lot of times when we have this conversation, oh, what do we do? Oh, recession, it just goes back to our basic, what are our top 3 priorities that we can concentrate on. So a lot of times when a new governors and presidents comes in, I just say that, okay, instead of I'm expecting some, oh, we're going to prioritize this 1-2 thing,
Okay.
or this one thing I'll do for my 4 years.
Mm.
It's just a lot of things. I'll do this, I do that, and I'm just, I 1 billion job, and I'm just wondering, this thing is not realistic if we do not do this one, if we do not get the solution to this one thing that can give us a ripple effect of production.
Yes. All right. Let's quickly talk about because right now the CBN is in a very they're in a dilemma with regards to what's going on. So the Monetary Policy Committee members will be in dilemma today, being Monday, being the marathon session 2 days after a recession was officially declared. They are meeting today and tomorrow to take key monetary decisions that would affect the money supply. The feeble economy has retreated in the second quarter of the year and relapsed into what appears to be a complicated recession on Saturday, when the National Bureau of Statistics released the figure for the third quarter of the gross domestic product. Now, the growth rate was negative for the second consecutive month, satisfying a technical condition for a recession. GDP slipped to 3.16%, short of expectations with regards to what people expected. Now, we had a minus 6.1% growth. That was what was recorded in the second quarter. One of the first questions I asked before we went on air this morning is, our Naira has constantly been devalued. I shared my story of how I made an order and I was shocked at how much was deducted per dollar for what I ordered. And now, what do we need to do? The devaluation of our Naira is also affecting our economy. But then I look at countries like China. Look at the currency of China to a dollar too. It's pretty high. It's pretty on the high side too. But it has worked for them to a large extent. China is one of the largest production company in the world right now. The US is in a trade war with China because of how much production comes out from China. But how do we use this to our advantage? The dollar being higher than our Naira by almost 500 Naira right now? Or do we begin to look for ways to begin to devalue the dollar against the Naira?
No, you see, there is no 2 way to it. Until the economy is revamped, it will be the same story. You make China as a case study just now. Don't forget that before now, the value of yen was nothing compared to dollar. But because of their production capacity, that's why they can measure up to dollar now. Yen can measure up to dollar. Until you become a productive community, state, the value of your currency, because what's happening is that you are only importing. And that means that the dollar reserve you have is what you are using to purchase those things. But you are not exporting anything to bring in dollar as a foreign currency. Do you understand? So when you are spending more and you are receiving less,
spending more than you are earning.
So that's the problem we are having.
Okay.
Until we are able to revamp this economy to the point that we become a productive country.
It's even the basic principle of life, value, really. Value is what the principle of value.
Yes.
If you are a person that always wants to take, you are going to, people are not going to see you as valuable. But when you're a person that don't even possess yourself, you give, you develop that capacity, and you're always giving, or you have something to give, even if you want to take.
Yes.
Of course, your value is going to keep increasing, and that's why we see world billionaires, Mark and so on and so forth, is what they built to give to the world. So when we take this simple principle and we then now make it into something national, and we take it seriously, the game will change.
All right. 070-317-56537 is the number to send us a text or a WhatsApp message. 070-317-56537. 37. It's a 8:45 on the radio this morning. This is still the newspaper review. Adeyemi Adeolu, Nkechi Emmanuel, Layode Signal, and Daniel Adaja is here with you this morning. So let's take this message here from Mr. Wale in Peace Estate Bar. It says, for me, I would look at the message and the messenger. Atiku should stop advising us on the economy. When he had the opportunity, what did he do? God bless Nigeria. All right, that's coming from Mr. Wale this morning. But let's take this particular headline on the This Day newspaper. So far, 1,247 petitions filed on alleged police brutality in 30 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. Barely 5 weeks after the National Economic Council, headed by the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, directed the establishment of the judicial panel to inquire nationwide to investigate complaints of alleged police brutality and extrajudicial killing. 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory have compiled the directive, have received no fewer than 1,247 petitions. However, gathered at places like Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Borno, Yobe State are yet to set up panels in their state. This day investigation revealed that the over 200 petitions received by the FCT panel were from victims of NSAS protest. The NEC at the meeting last month, attended by the governor and chaired by Osinbajo, had directed the establishment of the panel to deliver justice to all victims of the dissolved Special Squad and Police Tactical Unit. He also stated that the judicial panel to be set up in all states will comprise representative youth, students, civil society organization, and to be chaired by a retired judge. In Abia State, 21-member committee headed by Justice Sunday Imo, a retired judge of the state, so far received no fewer than 100 petitions. In Imo, who confirmed the number of petitions, said the panel has fixed tomorrow as the deadline for the submission of petitions. Also, Anambra State did the same, Lagos State. We all know the stories of every state that has set up this one panel or the other. But now, justice is where we are getting to now. We are getting to the end of where petitions are going to be submitted in some states. Lagos is still taking petitions as we speak. But places like Imo today would be the last day to submit petition. But the next phase after petition is for this case to be looked into and justice to be meted to each of these officers. Now, with the trend and the way we have seen things being done and handled in this country, with regards to police brutality in particular, and how we've seen a lot of cases being swept under the carpet, how do we follow? I know, yes, we are following through on these things, but started hearing very frivolous statements like, "Oh, we cannot trace all these officers." It's a very questionable thing to hear, and that is worrying. And then people were coming out to say, oh, but you can trace an NSAS protester, but you can't trace an officer. What do you mean by these things? So these are questionable statements that are already coming out. That it's almost looking like this petition is a disguise to just calm the nerves of the people.
You see, Daniel, when you were reading it, I was just laughing. Why was I laughing? We've seen it over the time that when things like this happen, extrajudicial killings, there's always a cover-up. And now the reason for this, why they initiated these judicial panels, is based on the fact that it's now something that is known to the whole world.
Of course.
Do you understand? Now the judicial panel are receiving this petition. The next thing for them to do is look into it holistically and see whoever is found wanting should be indicted. After indictment, then let them be prosecuted. And talking about the personnels that you say you don't know where they are, for heaven's sake, police is not in heaven. It's here on earth. And this police we are talking about is not in the US, it's in Nigeria. And these people we are talking about, they are under one command or the other when this brutality took place.
Let me even call me there. There's nothing like they cannot not know where it is, because I watch a lot of investigative discovery personally. Yeah. And if it's 10 years, we are going to look for these people. We will look for them. We are going to continue to look for them until we get them, because that's how it works in other countries. So you can't just come out in 3 months and you can't find it.
In case as you just said now, you know that if it were to be armed robber or whoever, a criminal they are looking for. And you know that a criminal will always change from one location that you will not even know. You can't even trace.
Yes.
They will trace that person out.
Have to trace.
But not talking about somebody who has a string, whose string is attached to something. You now say you cannot trace that person. Still under the employment of Nigerian police. You can't trace him.
So maybe to the
Something
question
is-
that
something
they
is wrong
asked, we will
somewhere.
continue to we'll continue. We will not let it sleep. No, we're not going to let it sleep. You know,
We won't let
yes,
it sleep.
we're going to
That's for
continue
sure.
to find out. So
Yes.
what's going on? Because those people will come out.
Honestly, when you hear when you heard the victims,
The petitions.
oh my God,
In fact,
They are
exactly.
very heartbreaking.
That's
Very
why you can't
heartbreaking.
even
Very
gory
heartbreaking.
stories.
Very.
You can't,
You know,
we can't,
I was listening
it has
to a man's story of how he lost his eye.
Yeah?
Another man how he
The
lost
one
his leg.
that was paralyzed.
Yeah, that was
was
paralyzed.
pushed from upstairs.
From upstairs.
No, there's nothing like
no,
that.
no, no.
There
We'll
is
get to the root of
there
it.
is there is so much, and you
So
know
many.
it is even more painful because this is Nigerians attacking Nigeria. Forget the uniform. So it's really a sad situation. And that's why it's very, very important that the next set of people, before all of these officers, must be given psychological evaluation.
Yeah,
They must be given.
They must run a background check. I've told you, they must run a background check. You see, if you are going to enlist anybody, even in Nigeria, I mean, in any of the agencies, let it be that the application will have been with you for a minimum of 9 months, so that you'll be able to run a background check.
I think there's only one
Very
background check organization I know in this country, because I don't even know if it's something that we take seriously. But what you're saying makes sense in terms of data, you know, just collecting just your residents, knowing who they are, where they are, having the data and all that.
That background check is only done when you want to collect facility from the bank.
All right, let's take some of the messages, but that is very true. The bank will want to be sure you can pay back their money. I know that experience. Chicks from Ikeja says, for this government to have spent over 3 billion exploring for oil in the Lake Chad Basin tells a lot about their economic team. All right. NNPC intensifies search for crude oil in the north. That's what we have been shouting about. Those who have been in opposition to the call for the destruction of Nigeria's federation are now waking up. If we keep deceiving each other in the name of one Nigeria, then we are heading for destruction. Restructure Nigeria now, and a lot of problems and challenges will naturally fade away. Truth is incontrovertible. All right. Timo Brown in Ketu, Lagos. All right. Let's take some of these text messages and we can call it a wrap here. Judicial for inquiry is good, but just hype. It is not the same ones. Nigerians are familiar with justice must be seen to be done and not justice suppressed. World is watching. All right, Engineer Soji Badejo. Chike Nakute says US election is now officially outdated, so they should stop lecturing smart nations on democracy. All right, their collegiate system of election is a scam that favors a few. All right, that's Chike in Akute. All right, I'll take this last one and then I'll just ask for your final words this morning. If government should go ahead to prosecute innocent NSAS protesters, then the end may be palatable because it may snowball into something more devastating than the earlier protest witness. Nigerian government should be diplomatic in handling this polite issue. All right. This is Engineer Soji Badejo sending us that message in. All right, let me get your final words this morning on the headlines we have taken and what's the way forward for Nigeria. Let me start with Nkechi.
Well, for me, in a nutshell, what I would say is Nigeria, we need to start seeing ourselves, our country, our nation as some sort of personality. And what do I mean by that? You know, a nation that can give value, can grow value, and can give value. Maybe if we start seeing ourselves in some sort of personality kind of way, rather than some general a billion people in the country, it will help us to take more proactive actions that are profitable.
All right. Mr. Remy, I think I'd like you to make your final comment on, you know, Nigerians, you know, staying positive even amidst all of this news.
Well, that's who we are over the years. We are positive-minded people. If not, Nigeria would not remain to date. But God bless Nigeria. And we always remain positive because we know that this is the only country we have. Like Sonny said, Ajo, let's put hands together and make Nigeria one and great. God bless Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Adeyemi Adeolu and Nkechi Manilade for joining us today on the newspaper review. And to everyone who has sent us a text or a WhatsApp message, we appreciate your text and messages this morning. And also, a special thanks to Nkechi Manilade, Sage Nell, for being with us this morning. At exactly 9 o'clock will be the news at 9. And after the news at 9 this morning, we're going to be having a conversation on the protection of the girl child from child labor. A very important conversation you should listen to. I saw a short movie over the weekend, and it was a story of a girl who was working as a child labor. And when the story went on to be that when she was actually the daughter of the man, when he died, the wife he took in made her the slave in the house. And it was a very, very pathetic story. But there's a lot going on in Nigeria, and we need to address this issue of child labor. It's happening. It's not a popular conversation, but this morning we're going to have people from the Lagos State Child Protection Office talk to us on this on the other side of 9. So you can call in to ask questions as much as possible on the other side of 9. Let's have a beautiful day together. Good morning.
We are WFM 91.7, the voice of women, using radio as a tool for women development. We condemn the abuse of women, girls, and children in any shape or form. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Is it the sleek and gorgeous Ace? Is it the inviting and exceptional Evo? The dazzling and awesome Blaze? Is it the bold and engaging Flight? Or the captivating and fabulous Freedom? Whichever is your choice, Spectranet has got a wide range of internet modems designed to suit your lifestyle.
Yes, Spectranet has got each modem fully loaded with free data for a spectacular browsing experience just for you.
Every Spectranet modem connects